Yeah. Let me do it. You wanna talk about it? We gon' talk about it. You wanna talk about it? That Hollywood of the South. We gon' talk about it. That Hollywood of the South. We gon' talk about it. That Hollywood of the South. We gon' talk about it. That Hollywood of the South. Hollywood. Let me do it. WCEG, Hollywood of the South. We gon' talk about it. That Hollywood of the South. We gon' talk about it. That Hollywood of the South.
You're listening to WCEGtalkradio.com, the worldwide community empowerment group where we speak life into the community. I'm Wardell Richardson, your show host for the next 2 hours on WCEGwood, the Hollywood of the South. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at WCEG_talk_radio. That's WCEG_talk_radio. Call in or Skype us at 678-619-1402. That's 678-619-1402. Ask your questions, make your comments, or voice your concerns at telephone number 678-619-1402. We're your 501c3 nonprofit community radio station. Please make your tax-deductible donations via our website or call our business office at 404-490-8646. to keep quality talk radio on the air. Thank you in advance for supporting WCEGtalkradio.com. Last but not least, the topics and opinions are the show hosts and guests and not those of WCEGtalkradio.com. Penny put that in there for the sole purpose of making sure that whatever I say is my words. Because I say some things on the show, very transparent, but I speak the truth and honesty. I'm just saying. That's it. But I'm very excited about my show today. We got some great guests and an awesome co-host in the building doing some major things. We got Lillie Young in the building. What's going on?
God is good. Life is beautiful.
Lillie, you be doing your thing, man.
I'm staying at it, baby.
Tell people who you are and what you do.
My name is Lillie Young. I am a author, actress, and I also do event hosting. And you can catch me on Mondays on the television show The Residents. I am a doctor, but we just finished up season 2, so woohoo!
Yeah. You doing your thing.
Season 3 is renewed, so. But you can go to my website, www.thepurplecinderella.com, and you will learn everything about Lillie Young.
We will learn everything about you on your website. Mm-hmm. So you just got it all out there.
I got it all out there. I write it in my books, baby. Never give anybody ammunition to destroy you. Put it out there first.
And you do have some books. We're going to talk about that too. But let people know, if you're not from Atlanta, how you got here, how you got started in this industry.
I am from Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Okay.
And I moved here like 15 years ago. And I would say to people, Atlanta is a land of opportunity.
Yeah.
So if you're not doing anything positive in your life, you have to blame yourself because there's so much out there that you can do. Yeah. But I actually got started in this because it was something I always wanted to do. And I kind of dabbed into it when I was much younger. And then when I came to Atlanta, I really wanted to get into it, but I had a child and I don't have parents and family. So It made it much harder for me. So I had to work all the time, to take care of my daughter.
Right.
But once she got in college, finished college, I was like, hey, she out on her own.
You got a college
My daughter is 26 years old. She graduated from Georgia State University, lives on her own, everything.
You look like you in college.
I wish. I really wish.
Man.
So it gave me the opportunity to get into it. So I just started researching how to get into it, and I just put my best foot forward and I did it. So and then I write about that in my book, The Red Lipstick Hustle.
Right. So why actress? What about acting made you want to be an actress?
It allows you to be different people.
I love that because I say the same thing all the time.
And it's just it's a wonderful thing. It's an opportunity to find different parts of yourself that you didn't know you had.
Right.
So
you're right. And I like the fact that you say you get to be different people.
Yes.
Because that is the only thing you could do where you could be bad and not go to jail for it.
Yes.
So, unless you're in the movie, you go to jail in the movies. But I love acting. I love everything about it. And also you dabble in domestic violence. Right.
I am a victim of domestic violence. I write about that in my book, The Purple Cinderella, Surviving Multiple Childhood Rapists. So I am a victim of it, yes, an advocate for it as well.
Okay. We're going to talk about that too.
Okay.
But before I introduce our guests, I want to bring up a few upcoming events on April the 26th. Women on the Rise lunch party at B Sosa Bistro Bar at 8540 Roswell Road. We will be in the building doing interviews on the carpet. So make sure you come out and get interviewed by the one and only Wardell Richardson on the red carpet. And then on 5/14, on May the 4th, we have the Shattered premiere. That was directed by Omega Keys, who was in studio last year, and produced by Kathy Taylor at the Hudson Grill, Midtown, 942 Peachtree Street, Atlanta, Georgia, 30309. I went to an earlier premiere of that. The movie is insane. So I'm excited about the movie. We're also going to be in there doing interviews for that event as well. I don't know if I'm going to be there. There's probably going to be Penny on the red carpet for that one. Am I right, Penny? Oh, see, I'm talking about Penny, boy. We be rolling. We be doing this thing, right? Look at Penny over there doing multitasking and everything. Penny is the guru. She is the queen of WCEGtalkradio.com. Okay. Women on the Rise. I just. All access. Oh, okay. You want me to say it all? Yeah. Okay. My bad. Women on the Rise, all access lunch party. She gonna make sure I'm right. But both of those events gonna be awesome. Both of them are ran by Kathy Taylor. She produced the Shattered premiere, and she is the guru over the Women on the Rise all access lunch party. You gotta make sure it's right. Now, we good? We good. Okay, now. See, she keeps me on track, y'all. So, she'll be over there saying little stuff here and there. So if you see somebody saying, she just trying to tell me what's up. So I want to introduce our guest for today. And we got some amazing guests. They doing some amazing things. And the director of the film that we're going to be talking about soon, I've been trying to work with her forever. She ain't put me in nothing yet. I'm still trying to figure out why that is. But we going to talk about that. We got Kade Hill in the building.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. We got John Estrada.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I mean, every time I think your name is Eric, I think of Eric Estrada. I don't know why.
Man, if I got $1 for every time someone told me that, man, I'll be sitting pretty.
And we got Kristen Hallom.
Hey, beautiful
in the
people.
business. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I think I met you the first time I met her. Were y'all together at the women?
We were there, but we weren't together.
Yeah.
I
Y'all
saw
weren't together.
her
Okay.
after
I saw you though.
Okay.
Yes, I remember. I remember faces. I don't remember names. How y'all doing today?
Wonderful. God is good, like Lillie said.
Amen.
Yes.
I felt that too. It reoccurred when she said, I was like, yes, God is good.
Yeah, because I tried to get y'all in here a long time ago, months ago. And so I'm on the phone with Kade because I'm going to put you on the spot. I was on the phone with her. I said, so are you available to come in? She said, no. I said, when are you available to come in? Skipped over March. No, we skipped over April.
Yeah, we did.
And we skipped over March. Yeah. I said, that's the first time you're available? Girl, you busy.
Timing is everything.
I know.
Timing is everything. Yes. That's what it is.
I like, man. See, I like people that's busy though. You know, you're doing your thing. I'm proud of you. You're doing your thing.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about who you are, where you from, and how you got started in the business.
I am Kade Hill. I'm originally from West Africa, Liberia. Moved to Philadelphia when I moved here when I was 2 and moved to Atlanta for school. I originally started doing pre-med. That was not for me. Started modeling. That's how I got into acting. Decided acting wasn't for me. I'm more behind the scenes. Writing has always been a part of me. So started writing, producing. This is my first time directing. But it's been great. It's been great. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. So juggling a lot at once.
So what made your parents move from Africa?
There was actually a civil war at the time. Yeah, so they moved here because of that. And then we just never went back.
Wow, you got here to the States and was like, freedom.
Well, I did visit twice. I will say that I did visit twice, but I
Oh, yeah?
mean, it's beautiful. I definitely want to go back.
That is some place I've always wanted to go. I hope I'm supposed to be going next year.
Okay.
So I hope that pans out.
I hope it does too.
Because that's one of my biggest dreams and biggest places to go. So
Liberia or just somewhere in Africa?
just Africa.
Somewhere in
Gotcha,
Africa.
somewhere in Africa.
As long as I'm in Africa,
yeah,
I'm good.
it's an experience.
Yeah, I heard
It's
it
an
was.
experience, yeah.
I heard it was. Now, is it true what they say about you gotta get all the shots and stuff before you go there? No, I don't know.
No, but go ahead and get it. That way you don't come for me, But
I always ask that because I know somebody who's from Sierra Leone, and he took the shots, went over there, and he came back and he didn't continue the shots, and he caught some kind of disease or something.
Oh,
and was in the hospital for weeks.
Wow.
And I said, I think that's
Yeah,
what
malaria.
it was.
Malaria.
I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
And he was in the hospital for weeks.
You gotta be careful with the water.
I heard that
Yeah,
too.
gotta be careful with the water. The food's organic though, so it balances out.
So don't drink the water. Gotcha. But the food's good.
Bottled water is your friend.
In Africa.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll remember that. Mr. John Estrada, what's going on with you?
Hey, what's going on?
A little bit about you, sir.
All right. So my name is John Estrada. I'm from Hialeah, Florida. That's a city outside of Miami. I'm the CEO and founder of Two Fish, Five Loaves Entertainment. I have my beautiful wife of 14 years and my beautiful daughter is 7 years old. And I've been writing about 7 years now. And, my mission is to write quality entertainment in the form of theater, film, and even documentaries, and for the sole purpose of uplifting the kingdom of God.
Okay.
Okay. So why what got you into writing? Like what initially started you? You just woke up one day and said, I know what I want to do.
Let me tell you, when you're obedient to God's word and when you hear his voice, as I was mentioning to you offline, about 12 years ago, my wife, she's from South Georgia, so we came up here to visit family.
Okay.
And the Lord had told me, move up here. I've never written, I've never done anything like that. I said, okay, Lord. Moved up here, and we were going to this one church, and we were serving in the children's ministry. They needed someone to do the Christmas program. So I started writing. I said, let me do a skit. I did a skit called The Gift That Keeps on Giving. I fell in love with it. I said, ooh, I like this. So I wrote another one called The Reason for the Season. And then I wrote, I was like, wow. So then the Lord placed it in my heart to write Inside Out, the untold truth of domestic violence in the church.
Wow.
And so, and then after that, I did White Rose, the play. And,
now, domestic violence in church, that sounds like something people don't really want to talk about.
Yeah, they don't.
and that's the one thing. A lot of things are covered up.
They keep it hidden.
And, and a lot of times it needs to be spoken. A lot of people are hurt. A lot of people get damaged. And then they want to give up on God because of what goes on. But there needs to be healing. There needs to be transformation. And in this story, it's just, it's the way how one guy God calls to be a pastor of a big church. He's on fire for the Lord, but then he starts going to the left. But God allows him to do all that, to fall, to humble himself, to come back to him. So it's...
Now, is that something that you experienced in that made you write it, or is it just something that you heard about? Like what?
Just different things that I've seen, I've heard, but I mean, as I was writing, I started writing the pieces to it. The Lord just kept on giving them to me, and it went from just a five. It was 5 scenes. Ended up going to 16, and I just kept on writing and writing and writing until I was finally able to do a play in 2015. And I knew that it was my calling when one of my coworkers who was in an abusive relationship, she opened up to me and told me, thank you for allowing me to see that, because with that, she was able to leave her situation, and her husband was a cop.
I thank you. That's powerful.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you first did the play, you did it in church, right?
No, actually, I wasn't allowed to do it there.
I was gonna say that's why I asked you that.
You know, they give you the politically correct answers, but I knew because the pastor at the time, you know, didn't want me to do it, so I just I said fine, no worries, and so I did it at Porter Sanford Theater.
Okay.
I appreciate you going ahead and doing it,
Right.
even though the church didn't agree with it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so.
You good, keep going.
Oh, okay. So, but yeah, it's and so I knew that it was something that the Lord wanted me to do, and I do plan on getting it out there in film soon.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be a controversial piece.
Hey,
I like controversial pieces.
Yeah.
but
yeah,
you know
me
what?
too.
But if it's going to bring healing to people
Yeah.
and bring them back to the Lord and let them know, you know, where people can see themselves in that situation and say, you know what, there's healing here, and that for me, that's key.
Yeah, see movies like that is stuff people don't want to talk about, people don't want to hear, and a lot of people in the church will veer away from it because they see it and they know who's doing it, and or either they're doing it, and so when it comes to light, then they're gonna feel like it's gonna open the veil or release the veil over a whole bunch of stuff that goes on in church.
Right.
Church is a very hidden, secret place because a lot of stuff happens in the church and no one want to talk about it. I've seen some things that go on in church that is just unbelievable.
And if you tell something that's the truth, you're told you're a liar too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They gonna make you look like the bad person
Yeah.
Yeah.
every time.
But you're doing the will of God, so that's of God, so that's so powerful.
Yeah, that's
And
all
I
that
admire
matters.
that.
I appreciate it. Praise God.
All right, Miss Kristen Hallom,
Hey,
how you doing?
I'm good. My name is Kristen Hallom. I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis 10.
Yes, representing. I actually left Memphis to go to college. This was my first time ever leaving the city. I am a first generation college graduate.
Okay.
I then relocated to Atlanta where I had the opportunity to begin to pursue acting.
Okay.
And so that began my journey with relocating here into acting.
Okay. So when you came here to start acting, and you was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna up and move here because this is where I want to be.
Well, I actually ended up relocating with my previous employer. And so acting wasn't something that I originally started pursuing.
Okay.
As I started like searching for purpose, trying to figure out what direction I was supposed to go, and really like seeking to build a relationship with God, and that desire as it got stronger and stronger, it started directing me in that direction. And I remember wanting to do it, like watching like Nickelodeon and the Disney Channel and wanting to pursue acting, not necessarily having all the resources. And now I know that God is a God of timing as well. So with knowing that, it's like, I feel like everything aligned the way it was supposed to. But coming in, relocating, ended up switching jobs. And then I got an opportunity within the job that I was working to do a commercial.
Oh, that is amazing. Beautiful.
And with that commercial, it sparked a passion that I was like, oh my God, this is it.
Is that what was on your reel?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw your reel. Very nice reel.
Thank you very much.
I do my
appreciate it.
research. Very nice reel. So is that the Comcast or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Comcast commercial was what gave me that thump.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
They
was
put
like
the fire in you.
yeah. So
It usually takes with acting, it's either a no go or a go once you get behind that camera one time.
Yeah.
It's usually because I did theater first, and I love theater. Don't get me wrong, I love it, but it is so time consuming. That's the only thing I don't like about it. All the rehearsals, after rehearsal, and you literally have to have the time to focus and commit to doing theater. But when I hit film, I said, "This is it."
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I want to do.
You know what's so funny? Before I actually started pursuing it, I went to like this lecture. And I remember the gentleman saying, and you hear things and it doesn't really stick with you until it's time, I guess. And I remember hearing the gentleman say, you'll know you've found what it is when you could do it for free and you love it.
Right.
And when I realized that I was in it, I was like, because at first when I heard him say that, I'm like, I can't wait till I find out what that is. But when I actually got into it, I was like, this is what he meant.
Right.
Yeah, this is what he meant.
Yeah. Now, after some time, you kind of want a little nuggets, but
Of course.
you're right. It's something, because even now, people are afraid to ask me to do film because they think I want all this money or whatever. I like that. But at the same time, at least give me a chance to read the script to see what it's about. Because if it's a good script and I got a good role and I'm getting some IMDb credit, or you got me as a producer on it as well or something like that, I might just do it. You just don't know. You know what I'm saying? The script got to be good, But I love that. Now this is, all three of y'all are clearly Christians. How did all three of y'all meet?
That is a funny story. So John and I used to work together at this company, Birch Communications. I was there.
Lord!
Yeah, I was there.
I work for AT&T. That's
okay, so you know.
I know all about Birch.
Okay. So my last 2 weeks at the job, we had a mutual friend named Tony, and she was like, you write, John writes, you really need to connect. You guys are kindred spirits. So I'm like, okay. So John walks over to my desk, slides White Rose on my desk, and he's like, hey, this is my script. I just want you to check it out. And it was the play at the time. So I emailed him one of my scripts that I had written. He read 96 pages in what?
Like an hour.
Not even an hour. It was like 30 minutes. So he came back and he was like, I read the script. It's so good. So I said, okay, I need to read his script because, he's making me look bad. He's making me look bad. I read White Rose, which is what we turned into a movie, and it was life-changing. I remember walking it back to his desk, and I was like, wow. And I walked back, and I'm like, I wish I could have written something like this. That was it. We didn't talk. I left the job. That was my last 2 weeks there. Left the job. 3 years later, I get a text message. He's like, hey, this is John. Do you remember me? And I'm like,
so you left.
I left.
You still there?
Not too long.
Not too long?
He was somewhere else, but
okay.
Yeah.
And then 3 years later, you reached out to her because you remembered her from, okay, all right.
Yeah,
continue.
So what was crazy was that the reason I was reluctant to read his script was because I was at a place where I did a project. It didn't work out the way I thought it was going to work out. So in my head, I'm like, okay, God, this must not be for me. Let me try other avenues. I started developing apps and doing websites and things like that. So when he called me, I said, okay, I'm going to entertain this call. When he called me, I knew I was going to say no. He was like, listen, I'm thinking about turning this into a movie. I know how you write. Can you script it for me? Can you direct it? So I'm letting him talk. And in my head, I'm like shaking it like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then he said something that clicked. He was like, God said, you're the key. And every time I pray about it, I see your face. And it was like a peace that came over me. And I was like, okay, well, let me pray about it. I'm going to get back to you. But it was already confirmed before we got off the phone. So it's so crazy how everything just kind of aligned seamlessly. Like I wasn't even looking for a script to direct or anything like that.
Wow. So you was praying about it and you just saw her face every time.
Every time. And it's funny because one of the guys at my church, he does like YouTube videos and I kept on going to him, and every time it was like, hey, I got the script. I'm going to get back to you. And I'm like, and I kept on telling my wife, I said, man, this is getting annoying already. This guy keep on asking him for help, and he keeps on, just pushing me off. And then, but as I'm praying, I told my wife, I told her, the Lord keeps on showing me Kade. He was like, why don't you call her? And I said, all right. Then so when I called her, and then when she told me what she told me, I was like, okay, here we go.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how did Kristen come into the picture?
So it just goes back into like the whole thing with alignment. Because I actually met John's wife, Tanisha, at a church conference. And
Boy, I tell you,
it's
it's
crazy.
like a movie in itself.
Yes, it is.
And we were talking, and it's interesting because we immediately clicked. And we were just talking about kind of what I was thinking about doing, because I was like, you know what? I'm just about to move to LA. You know what? All right, I'm just going to do it. And one of the things she said, and one of the things that have been reoccurring is, are you at peace? Because if you're not at peace, that's not a decision that you should make.
Right.
And you should really pray about it. And I have been praying about it. And as we were talking, and of course the conversation of acting, she showed me the flyer for the audition. And, you know, I put it in my calendar. And at that point, I had decided that I was going to stay. Because I felt like, you know, I really need to do a little bit more building before I decide to do something and make such a big jump as relocating. And it was funny, too, because one of my friends sent me that same flyer again. And I was like, all right, yeah, I'm going to go.
Confirmation.
It was for sure confirmation. And the fact that I decided to stay, and then I got the flyer again, I was like, all right, yeah, I'm going to this audition. Yeah, and so here we are.
Here we are.
And you're the lead in the movie, or
Supporting
lead?
Congrats.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So let me ask you a question. So you're the director.
Yes.
Now you've done other films.
I
Right?
have done other films. I write a lot. So I've written a lot of films. Now with John, he said, I need you to direct it. So I said, John, I haven't directed. But he was like, God said, you're the key. You have to direct it. So just out of obedience, I'm like, okay, well, if that's what you're getting.
John, I'm just going to say that you were the key. Because you and your wife made all this happen. Just so you know. You were definitely the key.
I feel he was obedient to God, but she was the key, as he stated.
Right.
He was just one of God's tools, or whatever you want to call it. And he
would
was
not take
obedient
no
to the
for
word
answer.
of God.
Yeah.
And he stayed on her.
Oh, he stayed on me.
So
text
she was the
messages-
key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Text
But his
messages,
wife
everything.
pretty much helped him bring it all together. He needed a woman. A woman's touch is
Oh,
special.
yeah.
Oh, and his wife is amazing. She's also on the she did our wardrobe for us.
Okay.
She kept it all together, and I mean, she is phenomenal.
So you hadn't directed at this point.
Nope.
And he asked you to direct.
He said, "Here is my baby. I'm just gonna stand back here. You go." He let me put the team together. I pretty much picked the cast. He was just along for the ride.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you
I'm enjoying this.
So you just put trust all in her and just like go with it.
Yeah, I mean, I told her, just put me under your wing, and you take the lead, and I'm with you.
I'm asking his opinion. He's like, no, whatever you want to do. But I will say that throughout the entire process, it wasn't me.
It was God.
It was God. I was doing things that I never knew I could do. I was putting things together that I never knew I could put together.
Well, you know, God, they say God already give you the tools.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just up to you when you use them.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
I can't sit here and take credit because I'm telling you guys right now, it's the first thing I've ever directed, and it was so seamless. It was so seamless.
But one thing I have to give you credit for, because I see in this industry there are a lot of men who they don't know how to let a woman take lead.
True.
I've seen
That's
that
so
a lot
true.
of times.
Definitely.
I know there was a film director who was in here earlier, some weeks ago, and I did a movie with her, and the DP, the person filming, I mean, he gave her so much trouble.
Wow.
Because he could not let her just be the lead, even though it's her film and everything. He wanted to do something different.
Yeah.
And I had to literally step in and say, hey, you got one more time.
Right.
And he stopped.
Yeah. I think that there's some insecurities when that happens.
Yeah.
And I was raised by some strong women. You
Right.
know? And so my mom and my two older sisters, and then I have my little sister, but they're all strong women, and I commend them for everything they've been through and who they are as people.
And that's really, I had to give you credit for that, because you allowed this woman to like take control and do your film project. That's huge. I like to hear stuff like that, because women are powerful, man. I say that all the time. A man can't A man can't be a man without a strong woman behind him. I'll tell you that all day.
Yeah, no.
I can say that.
The next
Yeah.
thing they're gonna have is gonna be called it was the faith and the will of God because he believed so much and he believed in you so much because God led him to believe in you so much. So y'all next thing will be called the faith and the will of God.
Look at that. Right?
Amen.
So in being a director, female, and writing and stuff, I'm sure saying that what I just said, you've came across some issues and stuff, maybe not.
Honestly,
Have you had
nothing where I felt like, okay, they don't think I'm capable of it. But I have been in situations where I felt like I had to work 10 times harder.
Right.
Just to prove myself like, hey, I can do it. And that's just in working, in film, in life, really.
Right.
Being a Black woman, period.
Right.
You always have to work 10 times harder, be 10 times faster, just to prove that, hey, I'm equal and I can do it as well as you can.
And that's really sad.
It is.
I say that's really sad because I see it a lot.
Right.
And especially in the entertainment industry. I know you came across a lot of stuff in this industry, right?
Yes, I have, but it's like
How did
10
you handle
toes
it?
down, keep your head up.
How did you
Going.
handle it when they came at you? When they
A lot of times men just feel intimidated by women, period. And I guess it's the energy we put out because we're such go-getters. It can be taken as I'm taking over in a negative way, but we're not. We're just go-getters. It's just what it is. And we're not meaning anything harm to men, but we are more of a go-getter than men are.
You know, I think sometimes that now I've seen cases where I've seen women who are just very strong, you know, and I think some men get intimidated by that.
They do.
Yeah.
Especially when they know what they're talking about. I've seen that happen. But see, I've done films and I've worked with a lot of females, and I'm just type of like, oh, you want me to do? Okay, I got you. You know, I just follow direction.
Right.
You know, that's just me because it's not my project, it's theirs. You know, or you know, if I'm asked to work with a woman, I have no problem with that. You know, like, hey, let's work together. You know, when we did The Last Time, which is a domestic violence film, I worked with Reese and Tiffany Hill, and those two were a challenge and a half. I know they want them watching right now.
I know Reese is watching.
They are a challenge and a half. Love them to death, but woo! You know, those some powerful women. so several times, like, all right, y'all got it. You know, but we be on the phone going back and forth about opinions, but a lot of times it's because we all passionate about the same thing.
Right.
You know, so I had to look at it that way too. You know, but I love women power men. You know, it just.
I think sometimes. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you got.
No, I was going to say, I think sometimes, you know, you have to know when you can lead and when to take a step back, but not feeling insecure or feeling like you always have to lead. There's a time to lead and a time to take a step back. And
Absolutely.
I think, you know, and when you're working with somebody who you know is talented, let them do their thing.
Right. So since you directed that, has it gave you the bug now?
It has.
I knew
back.
it did. I knew it did.
It has.
So now you like shoot.
We're already working on the second project.
I already know it. You're directing it, right?
yeah, already working on it. So, I definitely missed it. I always knew that was where I was supposed to be as far as writing, not more so directing, but writing, producing, things like that. But I like directing. I like directing a lot. So.
Okay. All right. We're gonna talk some more about that. Now, so John, what's been a big challenge for you since you started writing and getting into the industry? Like, what's been a challenge for you if you had any?
Just trying to understand everything, you know, that goes into it. It's just not simply writing. I've learned how to, producing, how there's so much that goes into it. And so it's, Kade mentioned to me, she said, it's like, be prepared. It's like you're preparing for a wedding. And I was like, oh gosh, I remember that. But and she was right. It's so many little things. But like Kristen was saying, when you find something you enjoy, you can do it for free. And I was just like, man, I love this. We stayed up 21 hours, and I was like, yeah.
John was the only one bouncing off the walls. Everybody else was ready to go.
So
You were excited
He
about
was
it.
so
You
excited.
good to go.
I didn't even want to go back to work, but I know I had to. I was just like, when can I turn in my resignation letter?
So, Kristen, for you, what's been a big challenge for you since you've been in the industry now?
So I know that I am a like newer actress.
Okay.
And what I find is that sometimes keeping myself encouraged and having to kind of even shift that perspective, because as a result of me, like, again, working on my relationship with God, I feel like it helps to not be so like overwhelmed by not doing it a certain kind of way, or like even just like, because I feel like really at the end of the day I can be my own worst enemy.
We all can.
Yeah. You know, and I'm starting to see that more. Like I don't give myself enough positive feedback sometimes. It's like, so now even being able to like recognize, look at where you were, look how far you've come, and not being so hypercritical.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And since you gotten into, I'm sorry, somebody just said something. Since you got into acting, have you gotten to a point to where, you know, you say, okay, this is what I want to do, and these are the things that I will do, but this is my limit.
Yes. Yes. So, at the end of the day, I recognize and I know that I'm still a vessel of God.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that, I want to represent and carry myself in that manner.
Mm-hmm.
So for sure, there are things that I would not like to do. And, you know.
See, I'm just transparent. I tell people straight up. I can't do the gay roles. Now, I've been asked to do certain things. I can't do that. That's just the line I just can't cross. Nothing against the gay people. I'm not saying I have a problem with gay people. I'm just saying that's not for me.
You have a right to feel that way.
Right. But, you know, I've been asked. I was offered the biggest opportunity ever in life, but I had to play a gay role.
Wow.
Right.
And the guy bugged me for 4 months to play this role. He said, man, we get you on billboards. We'll be on all the shows. And I mean, he had all the paperwork and everything.
Wow.
Nah, man, I can't do it. Like, I just can't do it. He said, man, we'll pay you SAG plus such and such percent. Like, he was offering me all type of money. Man, I can't do it.
I think at the end of the day, you do have to stay true to yourself.
Yes.
You do.
Mhm.
Yes.
You got to think about your legacy. You got to think about what you want to leave behind.
Yeah.
Right.
People asked me before, how did I do a domestic violence film? I had to play this abusive husband.
You played it very well. Even though that's not your character, but I told you earlier on, you know, you did real good with that.
Thank you. People ask me how I did that. And when I think about that, I think about the purpose of it.
Mm-hmm.
It has to have a purpose. If I'm teaching somebody something and it has to be a bad person behind it, okay, I'll play that. Now, it's certain stuff I can't do. I just don't want to do.
Yeah.
And one is a child molester. So I just
There's
can't
certain
do
things
that.
I won't do, like
Can't
the
do
gay
that.
thing. I have no problem
You
with
know.
gays. I have gay friends, but
Right.
I don't want to do the gay roles, and I
Right.
don't want to do anything that's hurting children.
Right.
Right.
I just don't want to do it.
That right there, those two are the lines that I just cannot cross.
Yeah.
And I've been asked to do both of those.
Wow.
And it's you know, you been in this business for so long, you probably be asked to do everything. And I've had to turn a lot of stuff down. But I always think about my legacy and what I'm leaving behind and what's the purpose.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the films that people ask you to do, there's no purpose behind it. They just want you to do it. You know, no. No.
What I learned in this industry, people, we care about purpose, but a lot of them don't care about purpose.
They don't.
And I feel like when you lose where there's no purpose, you just lost. You out there.
Right.
And to me, it's important to have purpose.
And
Like
they
you
would do
stated.
anything to be in the movie.
Yeah, I know people that are like that now. They do anything just to the smallest things down the background that do anything. I'm like, that is crazy because you're not getting paid,
man.
you know, a lot, you know. So why would you just do anything to
Right.
do it? You know what I mean?
Right. You have to be this. I've gotten in my inbox when I'm getting ready to cast, because I cast, I produce, I direct, I do it all. And when I cast for a movie or anything, and they know I'm behind it, I always, almost every time, get a new woman in my inbox.
Wow.
And I just stop and I look and I say, really? Like, that's what you want to do to get in this movie?
Right.
That's crazy.
And I just delete it and keep it moving. And I remember that though,
It's
because
a
I
dirty
don't never
industry.
wanna,
We
Yeah.
just have to make sure we keep ourselves clean.
you have to
Absolutely.
you have to care about yourself. You have to care about the integrity of whatever you're doing, because people can ruin that. You know, if they come in a certain kind of way.
Right.
You know, I'm like, man, if you got talent, show your talent. You don't have to show all that other stuff. Just
Exactly.
be
Right.
talented. You know what I mean? You know,
Well, you better be careful with that. Don't even respond when they send you that, because today, what a lot of people
I know,
do,
I
you're not
delete it.
giving them those opportunities. You don't fall into the trap they laying down for you. They will
Right.
run you by you just responding anything. So
Right.
my advice to you is to never respond, because it's getting dangerous what women are doing with stuff like that.
oh yeah.
Don't even bother
Yeah.
say no, yes, anything. Just don't respond. I'm learning that too, because I'm like, you can't. It's good to be nice to people, but don't be too friendly where you fall into that trap.
Right.
And I'm having to learn that, because I get messages through social media, and I'm a friendly person, but God told me you got to pull back some, because people will set traps for you, and you're not even intending on even being in
Right.
the trap.
Right.
But they would set traps for you. So I'm telling you this, dealing with women, because there's some good ones and there's some bad ones. But when you get stuff like that, don't even bother to respond. Because what I'm
don't.
learning, I
I
won't even
delete it.
open them.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because I don't even want to open it, because that way they feel like, okay, I got you open
Yeah,
it.
the door's
It's
open now.
opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And they'll make something out of that little bit of you even open it. But sometimes you open it, you don't know what's in there. So I want you to be very
Yeah,
careful.
You gotta be careful, man. This
crazy.
business, man. I've been in this business 15 years, and I haven't seen it all.
But it's getting worse with it all. It's not. They got new
Yeah.
tricks. That's what I'm learning.
It always
It's
they
new
always
tricks. You don't even see
improve
coming.
the trick.
Right.
They improving. It's kind of scary a little bit, but by us knowing the love of God, we just have to stay prayed up, because it gets scary. Even working on sets with different people, you meeting different spirits, and you don't know what you're getting into, because you can
Right.
think these people like you, and the whole time they don't like you.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
really thinking,
That's
you
the
know what I
truth.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes,
that's
we're
the
too
truth.
old to worry about that, but everybody wants love in their life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you want to build, we have like a family with people. You're going to be working season after season with people.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people, they're not your family. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're not even your friend, but you spend whole couple seasons thinking that these people love you. And it's not what we always think. But God told me, you just keep loving anyway. But sometimes like, God, I don't feel like it today.
Right.
Because I don't took enough lashings from them. I don't feel like it today. Because I ain't gonna lie, I want to be disobedient. And sometimes I am, because I'm not perfect.
Right.
But it's really a hard business to be in. But you just, like I said, 10 toes down, keep your head up. Like Nipsey Hussle said, 10 toes down.
That's right.
And I really took heed to that message when I kept seeing people post it, because it's something I've been going through lately. And it kind of threw me for a loop, because I give out the spirit of love to these people, and then I don't get it back after I thought I had that love, as a friend on sets. But that's not how it is. It's not. And they always look at it as competition. I don't look at it as competition, because it's opportunity for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's so much love that God give all of us, that you take that love and let it skyrocket you. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
It's a challenging business.
I think the beautiful thing about being in this industry is that we can be that representation or that example of, that light, or what it looks like to walk in purpose or to be obedient. We may be, because even starting off, and to this day, I hear a lot of negative things about the industry, but it's like, what if part of my purpose is to be
That light.
that light,
Absolutely.
like that thing that people aren't used to seeing, that representation. So I think it's purposeful for sure. Like you mentioned, to be obedient and be okay with walking in love.
Yeah.
So funny you said that, because love has been one of the things for me too.
Yeah, because I have to wake up. When I wake up to get ready, like sometimes I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get to set at 6 o'clock. I have to pray to God that I give out the spirit of love. Because even though you're giving out that spirit of love, sometimes you can feel weak because you walking into all kind of different spirits.
Right.
Yeah.
So then sometimes you may have to go in that bathroom before you go on set and just put in a good prayer. Sometimes I even talk to people but praying at the same time, because I know I'm dealing with a spirit that pretends to like me.
Right.
So I have to stand there and pray while they're talking to me at the same time, and he at the same time. And it
Yeah.
could be draining, but you have to do it everyday life.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Those are some nuggets.
Yeah.
Those are some
Definitely.
nuggets.
That's some powerful stuff, because there are different energies on sets. I've seen it. I've had to fire people. So, because one bad apple will spoil the bunch.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
That is the truest
true.
statement ever. And I've been on sets where one person came on and their energy was so off that it threw everything else off. And I had to get rid of them. Like,
Yeah.
you had to go.
But there's some sets, they'll keep them anyway. I've been on them. They'll keep the bad apple anyway. They feel like they doing justice just for them, no matter if they're hurting other people. They will keep them anyway, and that's kind of dangerous. But, like, again, you just got to pray and keep going, because I have had to do it a lot. And it gets tiresome, but hey. Because I'm going to be honest. I'm honest. I don't like to say this, but I'm going to be honest. Sometimes I don't want to be obedient. I do it, but I don't want to be. I'll be like, God, I want to do them how they doing me.
Yeah. I've had that conversation too. I'm like, all right, I'm going to repent. Like, give me 5 minutes and...
Yeah. I mean, you want to get them paying.
Because you just feel like you don't feel like being a whipping cushion, a whipping bag today, But then you're like, okay, God, I'm going to do it your way. But I really don't want to this time.
One thing, I'm reading this book. It's called The Bait of Satan, and it talks about offense. How we put too much expectations on people, and so if we don't get back what we're giving out, then we get offended, and that's the way that Satan tries to just harbor bitterness inside of us, anger, and so for me, it made me open up my eyes a lot, because a lot of times, if I'm doing something, I expect it in return, but I can't do that because. Not everybody, they're not thinking the same way you are. And so if the less I do that, then the less I'm going to be disappointed and angry. All right, you didn't do it, then hey, fine.
And just keep loving them anyway. Where you at? We keep loving them anyway. I'm like, oh God, this is wearing me out. But I'm going to keep doing it.
Why did you name the movie The White Rose?
I like that name.
Well, White Rose came about, we had a coworker at Birch. And she will tell me about this ministry that they go into Fulton Industrial Boulevard, and they hand out the white roses to prostitutes, and so I was like, okay, and I later found out that the white rose also, it's like they do that. It's like symbolizes too, like for sex trafficking.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that till after I wrote it. And
but a white rose represents purity too as
Exactly.
well. And it's like you renew your soul, you cleanse your soul.
Right.
And like the prostitutes or whatever, people that have been sex trafficked, it renews them.
right. And so that's what they would do. They would go
That's
down
beautiful.
to Fulton Industrial Boulevard and just hand out the rose, just letting them know that God loves them, that no matter what you're going through, things can change. And so, and I when she told me that, I was like, okay. And at that time, I started hearing more and more about sex trafficking, and it's like the Lord started opening up my eyes, because I remember going downtown one time to pick up my mom from the bus station, and I was just like, whoa, before, you just drive there, pick her up, and now it's just like I started seeing young girls getting dropped off in these expensive cars and walking, and I'm just like, wow. It's so sad.
The spirit lets you know what it is.
And and so that just made me even want to write it even more. So
That's powerful. Thank you.
Yeah.
So is that basically White Rose is based about
Sex trafficking.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
So it's funny that you said that you wouldn't want to play the child molester, because we had a very hard time casting the
I'm
child
sure
molester.
you did.
I'm a very controversial writer. So the story doesn't go there, but the story goes there. So the first person we casted was fine until he read the script. And then he called me and he was like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to do this. When my husband read the script, he stopped and came in the room. He's like, I'm going to have to put this down for right now because this is a lot.
Very touching.
Yeah, he was like, this is a lot. Even the girl that we got to play the lead, Amaria, she is phenomenal, 16 years old. Her dad came on set the day we filmed those scenes, and I had to keep checking on him, like, are you okay, are you good, should we stop? And he was like, no, you can go ahead. But I could tell it was really hard for him to see his daughter in that light.
Yeah, because I don't think I could play a molester. I could play somebody probably pretending to whoop a child or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On those lines. But actually you got to be careful what you put inside your spirit, and somebody that's really strong, they can do it, but I wouldn't be strong in that area.
So the actor we got to do it originally, the character he went out for was not the molester. So we were like, okay, well, we think you would be good for this. How do you feel about it? And it took some coaching and things, because that's not a natural thing to just step into.
Yeah.
But once, you know, he got to know Amaria, they got comfortable with each other, they could actually, you know, play it out. But again, it doesn't go anywhere. Yeah. It's just getting your mind right.
Yeah,
to play that.
And I appreciate y'all writing this, because right now it's so bad with sex trafficking.
Right.
And it's so important to put that message out.
Yeah.
And if you found somebody to be able to play that part, that's amazing. God is good.
And see, the beauty about it is that I've never written for a film. And so what I admire about Kade was that she took what I wrote in the play form and still made it her own, but still without taking out, you know, what was originally there. And I think, and then she even created a new character, which I was like, yeah.
When I sent it to him, I was like, he's not gonna like this. He's not, because I added so much controversy. Because I just feel like if you're gonna do something like this, you have to be real. You have to give it to people where it inflicts, like they have to be uncomfortable. You know what I mean? They have to be uncomfortable so that change
I know
happens.
an actor who loved to play roles. I mean,
really,
he just plays like. Wow. I was like, hey, but he in every movie I ever seen in Atlanta, if you're looking for a creepy old man who just do crazy stuff and controversial, he would do it. Wow. Hands down. Hands down. And he even told me one day, he was like, yeah, if you got a role like that, you know, they always cast me for that, I'll do it. I was like, okay, all right then, I'll keep you in mind. But sex trafficking is huge in Atlanta. Atlanta's the hub for it. And I had no idea about it until we did a movie. I was working with another film company one time who you know. And we did a movie called Flesh. And it was based off sex trafficking, and we had a few rape scenes in it. Oh wow. Which was very what's ironic is that it was not hard to find a woman who was willing to be raped. And I thought it would be. But because they knew me and they knew how I operate, they said, okay, Wardell, I trust you, whatever. You just, as long as you there, you know, we good. I'm like, all right. And we made it happen. And it was a very tough. I think the guy who was raping the girl had a tougher time than the girl, because she was getting frustrated because he kept pulling back, and she was like, "If you don't get this done, so we can finish this," you know. And I was like, man, I mean, we had to reshoot that over and over and over again, but we had to take pieces of it and put it together, but he finally got it. And I was like, man,
it's tough.
Scenes like that are always tough, but it has to be there because that's what happens, you know. And if you want people to see the truth, it's necessary.
It's funny you say that, because it's like we were shooting the one scene and it was getting to that point, and the young lady, Amaria, she's the leading actress, and so she does such a great job, and she was playing that role. And she was screaming loud, and I got to a point, I started tapping Kade. I said, hey.
And I was like, nope, not yet.
It makes it real.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I had, you know, my eyes started welling.
Like, he was red, and he was like, come on. I was like, no.
And they were like, okay.
And you were like, no.
No, not, because I I kept asking her. I was like, Amaria, if you don't feel comfortable, you can tell me. Because she's 16. I didn't want her to feel like, oh, it looks unprofessional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So she was fine. She was a trooper. She was sick that day. She fought through it.
Yeah.
You will see her on TV. I guarantee it.
Oh, yeah.
She is incredible. When I found out that this was her first movie, I could not believe it.
It was her first movie?
It was her first movie. She's incredible.
So
Wow. And she played a tough role for it to be her first
and
movie.
she played it so well. Like, to create a character and then for someone to read a script and bring the character to life on point like that, I felt like I was meeting Mia Robinson in person every time she stepped on set.
Yeah. For a lot of times I called her, in my mind,
Yeah,
I'll say
everyone was
Mia,
calling Mia
and
because
her name's
she just
Amaria.
got into character.
So what was your role in the project?
I was actually her mom.
And you so young yourself.
I was sitting looking like, what?
But she stepped into the character, I'm sure.
You know what was interesting is that when they reached out and asked me to play that character, I was like, well, okay, this is different. I hadn't actually played an older character like that before. So I definitely feel like that was a challenge. There was some stretching.
You're not a real mother right now, right?
I am not.
So you had to play something you've never been. How did you prepare yourself for that role?
So I have a younger sister who's 12, and I have a niece.
Okay.
So I think about that love that I feel for them, and then I think about the love that I received from my mom and and my grandma.
Okay.
And those different things, and like watching like different YouTube videos to understand more of like the motherly feel. Those things helped me.
So was it hard for you to knowing that she was, I guess, Amaria's is her name?
Yeah.
She was going through that particular phase in the film, and you had to play her mother. So you had to be kind of emotional through the whole thing when you found out everything that was going on. I'm assuming, I haven't seen the movie. And I'm not giving nothing away.
Can't give it away,
But it's obvious that you had to play an emotional role or something in it.
I did have to play an emotional part.
So, being a new actress, how was it getting into an emotional state? Because that's the hardest thing for a lot of people to really get emotional at certain scenes. Because anytime people ask me to cry, I'm like, oh my God.
I can make myself.
That right there.
Yeah,
is probably
just think
the
about
hardest
something
thing.
sad. I feel like if you think about something sad or put yourself really in that position or with that character in, and you can cry.
Well, you know what though? Now, I have a daughter.
Oh yeah, that was a
that
gateway
helps
for you.
tap into
Gateway.
You hear me? Like I think about my daughter, I'm losing it.
Yeah.
Because that little girl is like everything to me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. Somebody told me like, man, you have a girl, it's over. I said, really?
Oh,
Man.
Facts.
Facts.
Man, my little daughter, she is just amazing.
You know, one of the things that I constantly was reminding myself is that this is so much bigger than me. With reminding myself that, it was like, this is bigger than me. I'm not going to say it was easy because I do feel like, again, there were some challenges. But I feel like with reminding myself, I'm a vessel, at the end of the day. And it's such a beautiful story. And I just really feel like it's going to touch so many people's lives. With constantly having that, it's like, that's really what gave me inspiration as well. And being able to get to that point.
Is this a feature or a short?
This is going to be a short.
Okay.
We're hoping to flip it into either a series or a feature.
That's going to be a deep series.
Oh, I've already started writing it. It's deep. It's deep.
I can't wait till I get my role. So, and with that being said, we are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk more with our lovely guest, my co-host, on some other aspects of this film industry. Right back at WCEGwood, Hollywood of the South. See you in 10.
Yeah. Let me do it. You wanna talk about it? we gon' talk about it. You wanna talk about it? That Hollywood of the South. We gon' talk about it.